point the opposite way.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay. So thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. PlayStation just finished their showcase a few days ago. And all I got to say is they hit a home run. And another thing that happened with PlayStation is that the pre-orders surprisingly went on sale for PlayStation 5s. And my goodness, what a crazy, crazy mess. Special edition of PlayStation Podcast, PlayStation Platform Gamer Podcast starts right now. What is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us here on Platform Gamer Podcasts on this very, very late night, going into Friday, September 18th, 2020. And we got this special edition broadcast for you guys. Joining me, of course, is my co-host, DeMar Dukes.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
So, yeah, I'm a little tired, but just to reiterate everything to y'all, let me get this spiel out the way and a couple of great announcements too. Number one, make sure that if you are watching us here on YouTube, that you are subscribed to our Platform Gamer Podcast channel, and make sure you turn on that bell for our notifications and smash that like button. And we would greatly appreciate the subs. And the more you guys hit that like button, the more we get noticed. So that is a huge plus for us. Also, you can check us out on Facebook at Platform Gamer Podcasts, and you can reach us on Twitter and Instagram at Platform Gamer P1. Also, two new things to let you guys know on. We are now officially on. If you want the audio versions of everything we do here and all of our broadcasts, you can check us out on the go on Spotify and Podbean. So if you want to listen to us as you're on your way to work, or well, for some of us that's able to go to the gym, if you're working out in the yard, just going for a walk or whatever, and you want to listen to us and support what we do here on this channel and on this podcast, you can definitely listen to us on Podbean and Spotify, and just type in Platform Gamer Podcast. So,
Desmond, I'm not sure. Sorry to cut you off. I'm not sure if it's on my end or not, but you're like really breaking up super heavy. I couldn't make out anything you just said earlier.
Oh, wow. Really? Dang. Yeah, I don't know. I seem fine on my end. It seems,
Everything seems fine.
Yeah. That's weird.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. It might have been screwed up. I don't know. But nevertheless, we're going to go ahead and get down to brass tacks here. PlayStation had done their what we would consider their final showcase. In wrestling terms, it's their go home show. But they did their showcase for the PlayStation 5, and they did a price reveal. Finally, we got a release date. Finally, and we checked out some really awesome titles that's coming out. And this was a home run, grand slam. Bottom of the ninth. Let's go ahead and get this out the way. I mean, it was. Man, that got me excited for everything that's coming for the PlayStation 5. DeMar, what was your thoughts on the showcase?
I thought the showcase was very well done. Absolutely. Sony definitely hit a home run with that one. There's definitely quite a few titles that I personally am absolutely looking forward to. definitely Resident Evil fan all day. I'm a lifer for that, so I can't wait for Resident Evil Village. Man, that's gonna be awesome. That is totally gonna be awesome. I think we're definitely gonna be in for a wild ride in this particular one, which is gonna be the sequel to Resident Evil 7. And another one that I'm also looking forward to is definitely Demon's Souls. I definitely looking forward to that as well.
Man, so speaking of all of these games, let's go ahead and run down the list real quick. So,
Yes.
the first game that the showcase revealed, and we'll get to all of the pre-order situation a little bit later, but Final Fantasy 16 was the first game that they showed. Oh my goodness. I know it was mainly just kind of a like a trailer type video. Not really so much as far as gameplay, but more so kind of just showing off. Final Fantasy 16, that looked good. And we got to see, there was a couple of key things that I noticed. Number one, the main character is one that I've never seen. You know, he kind of looked familiar. He kind of reminded me of the character from, I want to say it was Final Fantasy, is it 15? Yeah, 15. Kind of almost looking like the main character from that one, but this is a totally different character. And I think what stuck out to me the most was the two summons materials that we seen, in which one was the was the Phoenix materia, which was that Phoenix looking bird thing that we got to see.
Yep, Phoenix.
And then we got to see Bahamut, which looked absolutely phenomenal. Just the graphics on the game look absolutely sweet. Now, it will start off being a PlayStation exclusive. They didn't say a release date, but I'm assuming it's probably going to come out in either 2021 or early 2022. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be late 2021. But your thoughts on Final Fantasy 16, Demar?
Yeah, I thought Final Fantasy 16 is definitely going to be a heavy hitting title. I've been telling even some of my friends and some of my other coworkers that I feel that this is definitely one of Sony's strongest presentations to date as far as when it comes to release titles. That Final Fantasy 16 definitely surprised me in a major way. And I think as far as what I could put together from what they were showing, it seems like they're kind of almost, you can almost say, it almost seemed like they were going into the history of the actual summons crystals this time. That's what it seemed like, almost kind of taking it back a little bit. I actually think, I think Shiva was also in that thing too. So we saw Shiva, Bahamut, and Phoenix as well. I almost want to say, I almost want to say Ifrit might have been in that too, but I can't say for certain. But definitely those three, absolutely.
Dude, that game looked absolutely phenomenal, and a testament to Square Enix for what they're doing with this Final Fantasy franchise, especially taking it into the next generation of consoles. Your camera looks okay. There you go. Your camera was blurred out for a minute.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah,
my apologies, guys.
Yeah, is your phone vibrating too? Because I kept hearing this little humming sound every once in a while that popped in. So I don't know if you have anything on vibrate or not. At least I don't have anything vibrating on my end.
It might be my ceiling fan.
Ah, okay. So, but nevertheless, I am excited for Final Fantasy. So, the next game that that they showed, which is actually going to be a holiday launch title for the PlayStation 5, was the new Spider-Man Miles Morales. And we actually got to see some gameplay footage of that one. And sweet Lord, I cannot wait for that game. That was probably one of my most anticipated games. After I saw that, I was like, yes, can I have more of that, please?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. They definitely took all of the mechanics that made the Spider-Man game so awesome and epic in its own right, and they just kicked it up like another 10 notches. This one, there's definitely, you could tell there's going to be a lot more strategy involved when it comes to this, given the fact that Miles Morales has all these incredible extra abilities that Peter Parker didn't have. So it really adds more intensity to the combat. Um, the storyline from what we've been able to see definitely looks incredibly deep. You can tell you're going to be on an emotional roller coaster. You can tell Miles is going to be going through a lot in this
Oh,
game, a
yeah.
lot, and just all the sequences on the bridge was just beautiful. They could have turned that into a movie, and I would have been happy.
I think one of the highlights for me about that trailer was the atmosphere, and they really did a great job as far as representation of downtown Harlem in the Puerto Rican sector of Harlem, or Spanish Harlem, if you want to say it like that. But it looked fantastic. You can see people out in the streets dancing. You know, there's a guy in the far corner as your character's walking. He's kind of strumming on his acoustic guitar, and people like the city felt alive. And I think that was a true testament to what they've done as far as um, creating the atmosphere and just making you want to appreciate what they went into in creating this game. And I was thoroughly impressed. The combat system, I really like what they've done with the combat system. There were some things that I noticed that was like the first one, the first Spider-Man game, which, by the way, this Spider-Man game takes place a year after the last one. So if that first one was Peter Parker, then now a year later, now we got Miles Morales, which I think is really cool. This, for some people that were curious, this is not an add-on from the original game. This is a standalone version of the game. This is its own game. It may be in the same vein as that Spider-Man universe, but this one plays to the beat of its own drum. So I am super excited for this. I cannot wait.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the third game that they displayed on the PlayStation showcase was the Hogwarts Legacy. Here's my thing. Now, I have never read the Harry Potter books. I have watched all of the Harry Potter movies, and I've even checked out the first Fantastic Beasts. I haven't seen the second one. I think I haven't seen the second one. I might have seen the second one. I don't know. I can't remember. But this game looked really interesting. From what I gather from it, it's going to be like it's open world, but you basically tell your own story of where you want to go, and you can learn within the realm of Hogwarts and the school, and you can go to the five different areas in which you could learn from, whether it's like Slytherin or Hufflepuff or anything like that. I can't remember the other three. But yeah, you could go to those areas and then you could learn different spells and just create your own character in a sense. It almost feels like, and this is just my interpretation, but it almost feels like it's a counter to Fable that's coming out, where you kind of create your own story and you kind of direct yourself to where you want to go, but it's your character and how you want them to look. The game looks really interesting. Now, granted, it was mainly just a cinematic sequence, but it looked really good. Damar, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. That was the first thing that came to mind after I got through watching that trailer. I was like, man, this is like a super beefed up version of Fable. You know, it's like it was like almost to a certain extent, it was like Fable meets freaking Morrowind in a way to me,
Yeah.
because there's just so much content, and I think that's definitely going to be the biggest selling point because of this game. Not just the fact of its tie-in to Harry Potter, but also just the fact that it's a non-linear game. It's open world, which that's pretty much going to be the main thing I feel going forward for a lot of big games is the fact of the open world. But yeah, just the type of spells you can do, meeting these different creatures, not to mention the fact learning how to control uh, different kinds of beasts and things of that nature. It definitely allows you to take full control of how you want your story to play out and what type of abilities that you want your character to develop and have. So that's definitely a cool thing. And then the fact of just when you go over to like a friend's house or something and then you see how they built their characters up, it really does add a whole new dynamic to it when you think
Yeah.
about all the different combinations of how you're never going to meet the same kind of character. So
Right.
that I think that in itself is just exciting to me. I love games like this.
Yeah, and I'm curious as to how much creative freedom you're actually going to have in that game, as far as
Mm.
like creating your character, like how in depth is it going to be? So that'll be one to look out for. That one is slated to come out in next year. No actual date, but we just know it is coming out next year. So if you are a Harry Potter fan, this should get you really, really excited. And this will be something that I actually would look forward to because it looks really, really cool. Um, Next one that they showed in their showcase was the Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Now we actually got to see a little bit of the single player story mode that they displayed, and I gotta say that looked really impressive and it looked really fun. Um,
Yeah.
the graphically looks really good. I actually really like how the pacing of the character is done. A lot of the backgrounds look really crisp, really clean. Um, there was a situation on there that I thought was really cool when you pulled out the binoculars and then you could kind of look down and then you see the guy kill the other two, and then you have to switch over to your sniper rifle when the guy stands up like he's going onto the plane. There's another guy talking to him, just like some regular henchman soldier guy. And you screw around, and even though I swear on the video, it looked like you actually had aim on him, but you actually get the soldier guy in the back of the head, and then all heck breaks loose. That was crazy nuts. It was so much stuff that was happening, and it looked really good. I'm not quite still sure how I feel about the gun sounds. Um, but it was all really cool. It was all really, really cool. Your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I thought it was really good as well. Just the fact of how the stories and what we've seen played out. I mean, there was a lot. There was a lot going on. I mean, you could tell like you would definitely need a powerful machine to have everything that's taking place on screen at the same time. You had explosions. You had guys running all over the place. Not to mention the combat system is definitely has definitely been taken up a notch or two. I like the fact that when the character ran up to one of the henchmen, and as the two guys far off in front were about to shoot at him, the guy grabs him, turns him around, uses him as a body shield,
Yeah,
and
that was
starts shooting
cool.
at the other guy. That was awesome. I was like, sold. I really loved how I did. I really loved how they did that. And then the scene with the remote control vehicle,
Mm-hmm.
that was really cool. Man, that little thing could move, but the way they were just dodging everything and the way like just vehicles were tipping over and explosions, you're dodging explosions, but then it's like there was just so much going on at such a fast pace. Like the frame rate was very smooth. I like the fact of how the action just it played out just absolutely superbly. I loved the whole sequence from start to finish. It was really, really good. It really made you feel more a part of the story.
Mm-hmm. Now, it says here that the Call of Duty Cold War Black Ops Cold War is slated to come out on holiday 2020. So at least that's how they say it. But we pretty much know that it's going to be a launch title because it's already planning on coming out also for the PlayStation 4. And here's a cool little nugget too, um, is that they're giving people an opportunity starting as we record right now. Um, I do believe that you can start playing the multiplayer mode. You can download the multiplayer portion of the game and you can play that right now. And they're letting you play it throughout the entire weekend to kind of get a feel for it. And that's for if you have a PlayStation 4. So that's really cool. And then of course you can,
Yeah.
I'm assuming you'll be able to upgrade to the PlayStation 5 version. Um, I'm almost certain you'll be able to do that where you can do like a cross-gen bundle and pay, I believe, like $70, but you can get the PlayStation 4 and then you can upgrade to the PS5 version as well. So that a lot of games that I've noticed was starting to do that. And this is one of the main ones that I noticed. So yeah, Call of Duty is going to be nice. That game looks good. Takes place, during the time of the Cold War. You know, again, I got to reiterate, Ronald Reagan, like from the trailer that I seen, that was really cool to see. That was really interesting because I wasn't expecting that. But nevertheless, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War is a holiday 2020 release. We might as well say it's launched, though, within the launch window. So that's going to be really, really cool. Next game that was on display was the one that Damar was super excited for, that I'm also very super excited for, and that is Resident Evil 8 Village. Resident Evil 8 looked really, really good. Now, I have Resident Evil 7, so I really enjoy it, but I've only really been playing it on the VR. So I'm really curious as to how this will play without me having the VR, which I'm assuming they'll upgrade to the VR version when PlayStation releases its second VR system for the PS5. But nevertheless, that game looked really good, and it looks like it picks up a little bit after the Resident Evil 7 game with the same character. So that is really, really interesting. And I heard the guy yell out Chris. So I don't know if it was actually Chris Redfield or it was some other type of Chris. I don't remember because I actually haven't had a chance to beat it yet. But the story looked good. The creepiness of the game looks good. I'm actually hoping we get more zombies this time around. That would be really nice. But nevertheless, the game looked really, really good. Your thoughts, Damar?
Oh man, oh man, oh man. Reprising the role of our boy Isaac once again, stepping to his feet. It's definitely gonna be a wild ride. I definitely love the type of atmosphere. I love the combat battle system in this one as well. That's probably something you're probably gonna hear me say a lot. Is the combat battle system in a lot of these games are really, really good. You can tell they put a lot of effort into making sure that you had the best kind of playing experience possible. But yeah, with Resident Evil 8 Village, this game looks like it's just going to be a complete freak show. I mean,
Oh yeah,
the ambiance of the different locations that you go to, it was just creepy all around. I could tell this game is going to give me nightmares, but all for the right reasons. So,
so yeah,
I am
so
definitely absolutely looking forward to this.
yeah, Resident Evil. That's gonna be a good one, and I cannot wait for that one. So that one is slated to come out in 2021 as well. No official date other than the year. So that is definitely another one to look forward to. And just Resident Evil, just as a franchise, I've really enjoyed the direction they've taken it right now, and it's definitely different. It kind of on the scary level of it kind of goes back to the harmonizing of the original Resident Evil game. And just like that game, I expect to go through a lot of doors and a lot of crawl spaces, just a lot of really creepy areas. And I'm still looking forward to this coming out for the VR eventually, because I know it's got to come to the VR because the 7 was on the VR. So with this one on the VR2 in high definition, that's going to look fantastic. So
Oh yeah.
next game. This one was actually really interesting and it really caught my attention. This was Deathloop, and Deathloop really looked good. It kind of had reminiscence of like a Quentin Tarantino movie, almost like a Kill Bill kind of
Yeah.
vibe to it.
Yeah.
But you got to go through and there's 8 characters and you're stuck in this loop. So every time you die, you have to restart and like within that loop, and everything kind of resets itself. So you have to try and kill one person to get to another person to have them killed, and then try and kill that other person without the past 2 people coming back. It's really, really interesting. And it's got this little intertwined kind of situation. And then you have another character, female character, who's trying to kill you to keep you from having to do these kinds of things. And just Deathloop just looked really cool. And graphically, it kind of had what did it remind me of? God, I can't even think of the game now. But it looks more animated than realistic in that sense.
Yeah.
But the stuff that you can do as far as like the powers, like you can kind of like jump to different areas as far as like teleport jump, was really interesting and cool. So you'll have to have different abilities, like almost like a telekinesis thing, but I think it's more like force powers. So you're like throwing guys and tossing guys and shooting people. And yeah, it looked really, and you could do actually interesting things with gadgets as far as like setting up bombs, where you can have like you got like a little radio and it's all like taped up with some like a little digital dial, and like it's something like some 5-year-old would make, but you could use it. And it was, yeah, Deathloop looks really cool. Your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, it definitely caught my attention when I first seen the trailer for this. And one of the things that like you were trying to mention earlier, I almost kind of want to say it had kind of a vibe of Fortnite-ish, Borderlands kind of thing.
Thank
To
you.
me,
Yes, that's what
anyway.
it reminded me of.
But yeah, just the fact that you have these 2 elite class assassins constantly killing each other to stop one from completing the mission of another, and it's just you could tell it's going to be a funny venture ride. But just the
Yeah.
fact of every single time you get killed to come back, you almost have to re-strategize your last strategy from the last strategy. So it's a really unique take on trying to pretty much it definitely brings a little bit of a different kind of dynamic, especially when it comes to its replay value. So
Mm-hmm.
I really like that kind of dynamic with that. It keeps you on your toes. It makes you think, and you definitely have to be really creative when it comes to that. Now, people who are used to playing other games that kind of uses a similar kind of mechanic will probably pick up on this rather quickly. But for those who really aren't used to this kind of game style format, there might be a little bit of a learning curve, but I think once people really start to get into it and realize what all you can actually do and pull off in the game, I think it's
Mm-hmm.
going to make it just that much more fun.
Yeah, Deathloop is slated to come out the second quarter of 2020. So, in that sense, you're thinking probably like spring, maybe summer.
Mm.
Yeah, like early spring. That's kind of the vibe that I was getting. So, probably March-ish, March, April, as part of the second quarter. So that'll be really interesting. So I'm looking forward to that one. Deathloop looks like it's going to be a wild, wild ride. The next game they showed was the special edition of Devil May Cry 5. This is another Capcom property, also like the Resident Evil Village. I mean, there's not really a whole lot to really say about this one. I mean, if you've played Devil May Cry 5, then you pretty much know what you're getting into. I think what they're doing with the special edition is beefing up the graphics a little bit, maybe adding a little bit more to the story. But this one is still cool. It's still cool. I haven't actually played a Devil May Cry game since Devil May Cry 3. That was the last Devil May Cry that I've played. So I actually have not played 5, but for those of you that have, I'm sure everything's going to feel familiar to you. It's going to be, everything that you pretty much expected it to be. But like I said, probably some graphical tweaks and maybe add, some different scenes, or maybe add a little extra to the gameplay. But nevertheless, Devil May Cry is going to be, it still will be a fun game for those of you that are looking for something that's kind of like more arcade-ish style with some really cool gun battles and sword battles and things like that you can do. So your thoughts on that one, Damar?
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It's definitely definitely smoother graphics. The frame rate, the higher frame rate definitely pushed the envelope as far as for the game moving at a pace, especially with the fact that there are a lot of high-powered moves in the game. But also, I feel like this was definitely a title that Capcom wanted to revisit and kind of bring it back out for this particular one. I think Devil May Cry 5 was kind of that type of game that it was kind of more meant for the PlayStation 5. It was meant for a system that could pump out more power, especially with the type of visuals that if you had watched the showcase, the visuals that it was showcasing. But yeah, I really can't say much more beyond that. But yeah, I think this is that's definitely one of the titles Sony felt definitely could be improved upon in more ways than one when it came to this particular title of the franchise.
Yeah. So, it's Devil May Cry 5 is going to be a launch title for the PS5. So, that just gives you one more arsenal to the already huge weaponry that PlayStation 5 is coming out with its launch titles. That's going to be pretty cool. Next one was Oddworld Soulstorm. I gotta say, the character models on that game looks really, really good. And I haven't played an Oddworld game, honestly, since like the first Xbox. That was the last time I played an Oddworld game. And it looks really good. And the fact that Abe is still out doing his thing, is really, really cool. So I'm actually looking forward to this. They showed some gameplay, but not like a huge, deep thing of it. So your thoughts on Oddworld?
Yeah, Abe's Oddworld, man. After looking at that particular showcase, this title is going to test a lot of people's patience, especially if you've never played any of the Odysseys.
Right.
This game is definitely going to test people's patience. But I love the graphics on it. There's definitely going to be some strategy that you've got to use in that game, especially when where Abe trying to lead his people out of all these different types of environments and things of that nature. So it's man, this game is good. This game is definitely going to be unique in its own right. I think a game like Abe's Odyssey was definitely long overdue. I'm glad they decided to come out with this particular title. I think a lot of people were actually looking forward to this. So I can't wait to see what they decide to do with it, and if there is a continuation beyond this story, who knows? But I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Oh yeah, and side note, I was wrong. It was during the time of the PlayStation, like the early PlayStation days, where you had some of the Oddworld games. I do like the fact that it's a side scroll, like a 2D side scroller in a sense, but in a 3D world. I think that's really cool, kind of keeping within the same vein as the other Oddworld games. So it looked really cool. It looked interesting. So I'm looking forward to that one. They didn't have a release date for it yet. So I'm assuming it's still in very early development. And this was kind of just showing off some of the stuff that it could do. So that one will be an interesting one. All right. So the next game that they showed was the new Friday Night at Freddy's. Really, it was just a cinematic sequence. It was funny because when I first looked at it and you heard the little voice and everything, and you saw like graphically the way it looked, I swear to you, on everything that I stand for, I thought it was a new BioShock game. I don't know why, but it reminded me like the way that the atmosphere of the game and how it looked as far as like, you know, when it panned back and kind of showed like the city in a sense, or the small like animal type city. I thought for sure it was another BioShock game. But then I find out it was like Friday Night at Freddy's. I'm like, oh, okay, security breach. I got you. So not really a whole lot to say about that one. I mean, you just pretty much you get the gist of it if you played Friday Night at Freddy's before. What are your thoughts on it?
Oh yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's. I've played a couple of those. I've even seen some gameplay of some of them. I know they have introduced some new characters throughout the series. Uh, Definitely staying within the format of what you normally would expect from the PC versions of the game. Um, Definitely it felt creepier. It definitely felt a lot creepier. The atmosphere, although the ones on the PC were pretty bad too. They were man, it really messed with your head as far as for that. This one, now that's going to be on the PlayStation 5, I feel it's definitely going to play very heavily on those points. I feel like it's probably going to be one of those types of games where you really won't get the full ambient experience of it unless, of course, you're wearing the headset. I feel
Right.
like that's definitely going to be one of the key elements when it comes to playing this game, because a lot of the things in the other uh, Five Nights at Freddy's games where it was required that it was recommended that you wore a headset, because you had to physically listen in to everything to be able to do what you needed to do on the console controls that you were happen to be at. So yeah, that's definitely gonna be a nice game to play, especially if anyone's never played it.
Right. So yeah, that one also did not have a release date. So just by us just having the cinematic sequence, obviously it's still in deep development. They still have a long way to go. So that one's going to be an interesting one. All right, so the next game that I am like super excited for. Now it came out for the original PlayStation and they brought it back with the beefed up graphics and just the new style of gameplay and just everything. And it was so reminiscent of it. Was Demon's Souls. There's not a lot I could really say other than holy crap, bring me that game now. Tamara, your thoughts?
Man, like the I mean, what can one possibly say about this game that obviously hasn't already been said all over social media? This game is by far going to be one of the most popular, definitely one of the top launch titles for the PlayStation 5. The graphics were so on point, and the type of boss battles that you see in this, everything was on epic proportion. Everything. And just the way you have to strategize and the different kinds of weapons and things of that nature, that looked awesome. I know that they were doing, I think you pre-order the game, I think you get a special downloadable content. You get a special scythe that you're given in the game. And the scythe I hear is supposed to be pretty powerful. So just a little nugget of information as far as for that. But yeah, that I definitely am looking forward to playing that. That is definitely on my list when the PlayStation 5 comes out. I'm definitely looking forward to that.
And I like the whole like knights and swords and that kind of gameplay. Like the character movements looked really fluent and really crisp, even with those high graphics. Like you're having like the way the characters parry and block certain attacks and then come in with like a swipe with their sword just looked really good. And I have a feeling too that you may be able to upgrade your armor in this one. They only really showed just the one armor, but I'm thinking you'll be able to upgrade your armor. I don't know, but either way, the game looks absolutely phenomenal, just graphically, gameplay wise. It's definitely it struck a it struck a it struck a part of my heartstring just a little bit. So I am definitely looking forward to that game. Now I had it to whereas if it was, I thought it was a title that they were still working on to be announced, but when we get to the pre-order thing later, I'm seeing that you could pre-order it, and it was really interesting because, like I said, I didn't think it was coming out already, but it's one that's planning on coming out at launch. So I'm really, really excited for that one. So the next one, I mean, there's really not much to say. It was Fortnite. They're just porting it over to the PS5. It is what it is. It's Fortnite. Obviously, it's going to have the updated graphics and everything, but it's still going to be the same old Fortnite game. Not much to really say on that one, other than the fact that is going to be kind of cool. And I wonder if you could actually take your character from your PlayStation 4 version and transfer them over to the 5. I'm pretty sure you can, as far as like you building up your character's levels and everything. So that'll be it is what it is. It's Fortnite. I'm not really a huge fan of Fortnite. I never really have been. My kids love Fortnite. So when they decide to get a PlayStation 5 and they want to upgrade, at least they know they got Fortnite to look forward to. I do believe the game is still going to be free to play, just like on the PlayStation 4. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, your thoughts on that one, because I really don't. There's nothing much really else to say about it.
Yeah. As far as for Fortnite, yeah. I think it was a pretty good idea to bring Fortnite to the PlayStation 5. Although I have to say that Fortnite's popularity, I feel, has definitely gone down a little bit, especially ever since Apex Legends and games like that have been coming out, and also I forget there was another game that came out, kind of works on that kind of system. But I think it kind of took a little bit away of some of Fortnite's thunder a bit. But I think overall, though, I know the studio that brings you Fortnite, I know they definitely have a lot of different things in the works. I know they're going to have a lot of different kinds of downloadable content. They haven't released anything as far as if there's going to be any kind of exclusive downloadable content with pre-order. So I can't say if I can't speak on that as far as for that. But there's definitely going to be some really cool downloadable content that's going to be coming out for this. I can already foresee it happening. They had a lot of cool content. The latest one that Fortnite's done was with the Avengers. So that one was really cool. We had to fight against Thanos and everything else. So that was awesome. There's been actually a lot of crossbreeds when it comes to different mixtures of games and such like that. But anyway, I'm pretty sure they're probably going to have another major crossover with the PlayStation 5 version. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it. Who knows? We might see Justice League or something next time. Who knows?
That's true. It would be interesting to see how, if there's going to be cross-platform play, as far as you can, because I know right now you can pretty much play with anybody, whether they're on PC or Xbox or PlayStation or whatever. So I'm pretty sure they'll stick to the same vein on that one with the PS5, and I'm sure Xbox Series X will get it as well. So yeah, it is what it is. It's Fortnite. Again, not one that I'm looking forward to at all. I'm not a fan of Fortnite that much, but it is what it is. People love Fortnite. The next thing they show, now this was really interesting. The PlayStation Plus collection. This is not like Xbox Game Pass, nor is it like PlayStation Now, but it's kind of an added bonus for PlayStation Plus subscribers, an extra little benefit for them. Whereas if you're not only getting, a couple of games for free like you normally would, but with that, you're actually able to play a lot. And they showed a lot of major AAA titles. The Last of Us Remastered, Days Gone, Detroit. They showed like a huge array of games. Ratchet and Clank. Yes, that's really interesting. And I actually really like, this was a smart move by Sony for them to do that, because now you're you're not giving those people what the Game Pass could do for Xbox, but you're giving them something to be like, you know what? I've been wanting to play those games. Now I have an opportunity to check them out. And it doesn't cost you a thing because it'll be part of your PlayStation Plus subscription. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think Sony definitely did a good move when it came to that as well. I agree with you on that. I think bringing more, I guess you could say, giving you more bang for your buck when it comes to the membership. Because I know, like, for a time, the membership had a lot of good benefits, but at the end of the day, like, what were you really getting as far as for that? I mean, yeah, it was great getting those titles at the beginning of every month as far as for that, but at the same time, you can only play it as long as you're a member, so you're actually constantly paying for the game. So those are going to be some of the most expensive games you're going to be playing. But now this time around, they're actually adding a whole nother dynamic that now you actually see that being a member is actually truly worth it in the end. So I think this is definitely gonna bring a lot more people to want to buy into the subscription and become Plus members and things of that nature. So I think they did good with that. I can't wait to see what other little nuances, because obviously there's going to be a few things that's going to get tweaked here and there when it comes to that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Sony pulls out of their hat with this one.
And I'm actually looking forward to that too, because I don't own God of War, surprisingly enough for some people, because I really do love the God of War franchise. I've been wanting to play that new one, but I just haven't had the time or the money to pick it up. This gives me the ability and the opportunity to actually be able to play that game as a Plus member. Now, whether they're going to be switching those games out every once in a while, we don't know, or they're just going to add more on. They didn't really give a whole lot of detail about that. So hopefully we'll get more details as far as that goes. But I think PlayStation Collections is a wonderful idea. I think it's just another added benefit for anybody that owns or that has PlayStation Plus subscription. And like we said, it's another reason to be a part of the PlayStation ecosystem, because now you're getting an opportunity to play these awesome games. Oh, I lost Amar. I don't know what happened. We were just about to talk about the prices. What happened? Oh, goodness. Hold on, everybody. Hold on. There we go. There he is. He's back now.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Technical difficulties. My apologies. Go ahead, Desmond. Continue. Sorry about that.
Okay, so moving right. No, you're good, man. So moving right along. The next thing that we talked that was the main thing that everybody's been wanting to know. What is the price of the PlayStation 5? How much is it going to be? When is the release date? We finally got, and I knew it, and I called it along with everybody else. We knew as soon as they announced this showcase, this is when they were going to drop the price, especially knowing that Xbox had dropped theirs, even though it was a leak and it was messed up how it happened. But nevertheless, PlayStation, we finally got a price. The PlayStation disc version is going to be $4.99, and the digital version of the PlayStation 5 is going to be $3.99. Both will do the exact same amount of power, and just one is disc and one is not. So I think for $100 less, you're still getting a great deal. And I think $400 and $500, the $500 one, you're definitely taking a hit, because to be honest, that system should have been $6. I mean, let's just be real. That whole system should have been $6, at least $600, $550 to $600. But they're hooking you up with it for $500 for the disc version, and I think these are great prices, as we can attest to here in just a little bit when we talk about the pre-order. But the release date of it is November 12th for United States, Japan, Canada, Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, and South Korea. All of those places will get the PlayStation 5 on November 12th. Now, November 19th, the rest of the world will get their hands on a PlayStation 5. So they split it up a week apart from each other, which was really interesting. DeMar, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I thought that was rather interesting too, especially given the fact that when Microsoft made their announcement stating that, they're going to be releasing the Xbox Series X as well as the S in 36 countries all at once. So that was definitely, you're seeing two completely dynamic strategies when it came to this in particular. So more than likely, I feel like these particular 7 countries is probably going to be the main base of where most of their sales and their pre-orders are going to be coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And then as far as for the rest of them, then I think it just mainly comes down to the fact of, as far as all the different PlayStation 5 units that are in production, it's made to meet the demands of those 7 countries. And then afterwards, giving to the rest of the world. So they have a little bit of a gap to be able to replenish their stock and then get it shipped out to all the other ones. Once they know that their solid 7, that's why I'm calling it the solid 7, is going to be satisfied with that.
Yeah, so I am definitely interested to see how this was going to go. But we'll talk about that going into the pre-order section. But the last thing that we want to talk about here is the new God of War. All we got was a teaser. That was it. We got the freaking logo. We got Kratos's, iconic voice, and the new God of War Ragnarok is slated to come out in 2021. I can't begin to tell you the amount of excitement I felt when I heard that voice and I heard that music. I'm like, okay, it's on now. And the fact that they made this the last thing you see before you closed out your show. Oh man, I can't even begin to tell you. Just goosebumps, man.
Absolutely. They knew they wanted to end that on a really high note, and this is why, like you stated earlier, this is why Sony hit a home run with this one in particular. To end it on that kind of note, that was a major cliffhanger that they left us on, and now a lot of people are going to be anticipating, what is it going to look like? What's the story going to be like? This story is going to be absolutely of true epic proportions. So I definitely can't wait as far as for that.
Yeah, so that new God of War is going to be freaking phenomenal. And I think we're going to move on to his son taking over as the new God of War character. But I do think that if this is possibly the last game that Kratos will be in, I can only imagine he won't go the way of Joel from from The Last of Us Part 2. It won't happen. It won't go down like that. I think if anything happens to him, it'll either be midway or closer towards the end, or he may even be the hero at the end, sacrificing his life. I don't know, but we just know Kratos is going to go out like a trooper. He's not going to, he's not going to go out like no punk. So, this will be a new direction for the franchise, moving away from Kratos and really just giving him the awesome next-gen treatment of where he's going to go. I think there's all kinds of reasons to get excited for PlayStation 5, and this was probably the top one. So,
yeah.
So anyway, that was pretty much the showcase. I think it was an absolute fantastic showcase. This was better than their last one that they did. And their last one wasn't bad. It was good. It was really good. But it felt like it was something that wasn't quite all the way there. But this showcase felt absolutely complete. My final thoughts and reviews on it, I think this was a beautiful success, and there's so many reasons to get excited for PlayStation 5. I cannot wait. Your thoughts?
Yeah, yeah. You took the words out of my mouth. Done.
But what do you guys think out there? After you've watched the showcase, did it get you guys excited? Did it make you want to be like, you know what? I really want to get a PlayStation 5 because of this. I mean, there's so many reasons to get excited for a PlayStation 5. You know, they could have just tweeted out the price and people wouldn't have cared. They would have been like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's go. So, but that takes care of that. So the last thing we want to talk about is what happened after the show. So Sony had put out a tweet, which was really surprising that they didn't talk about the pre-orders during the show at all. You would have thought they would have at least mentioned it or something, but they didn't talk about it at all. So we're like, okay, maybe they don't have a pre-order date yet. They're probably going to let us know, you know, a little bit later. So Sony sent out a tweet that says pre-orders are going to start the 17th at 9 a.m. in the morning, Eastern time, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Okay. That means we don't have to, you know, rush out in line. We can get a little sleep, get up, get ready, have our cards and everything, all our money ready to go, you know, to go do that. Well, some companies decided to go a completely different route and was like, yeah, we're not going to make anybody wait. So it all started with Walmart putting out a tweet saying, do you like, you know, you don't have to wait for, basically saying you don't have to wait for a pre-order. You can pre-order with us right now. Now, keep in mind, after the showcase, pretty much a lot of us were done. Like I went to sleep, like I was working. You know, I was finishing up work and I knew nothing of this that happened. And I didn't find out until it dropped later on that night. I believe it started at around 8-ish. It might have been even earlier than that, but it was like 8, 9 o'clock when I found out about it. And I was like, oh my goodness, are you serious right now? Completely caught me off guard, caught a lot of people off guard. So now everybody's scrambling to get their pre-orders in. It was absolute mass hysteria with this pre-order. And I can honestly say that at first I was really upset because I didn't like the way it was handled. Like it was a complete mess. I mean, you had Walmart that started off, then GameStop, then Target, then Best Buy. I got a notification from Best Buy stating that, because I had signed up back in like March, stating, you know, for them to let me know, hey, when the pre-order, you know, to sign up for, when they'll let you know when pre-orders, you can, you know, do a pre-order at Best Buy. I got that notification like that night. And I was like, what is happening here? So I'm scrambling, trying to get my stuff together, and I'm like refreshing the page, and I try to do the pre-order. The system's locking up. It was a complete mess. And you know, Best Buy, Walmart, the only one from what I was told that really wasn't having that much of an issue was Amazon. But just the sheer amount of people that were doing pre-orders, and it happened after this event. So if you were already excited, you had a whole nother reason to be excited, because now you can go and pre-order it. And it was just, it was a complete mess. But we can honestly say that the hype for the PlayStation 5 was real, because they were selling out everywhere. And you could tell because it didn't just happen here in the United States. It happened in Canada. It happened in New Zealand. It happened in Australia. It happened in all the places that is supposed to be scheduled for release on November 12th. All of them were getting their pre-orders like happening all at once. There were people in the UK that were probably trying to scramble to get their stuff together. I mean, it was crazy. And I don't know, man. It was a complete mess because people were getting angry because people didn't know. Like I was like everybody else. It was completely out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. Like, how did this even happen? Did Sony do this? Because we saw a video with Jeff Keighley speaking with one of the one of the inside guys of PlayStation. I believe it was one of the marketing heads. And they had talked about what we had discussed in one of our previous episodes where we talked about the shortages and stuff. And he was talking about, you know, people were lining up at stores and everything and just, you know, being ready to get their pre-orders, but Sony never really said anything and they didn't know what happened. And they said they would give us ample amount of time so that way we could be ready to go. You know, everybody doesn't have to rush to get in line. Yeah, the complete opposite happened. Damar, what were your thoughts hearing of this information?
I was definitely thrown back when I got in the news. It was kind of like, wait a minute, hold on a second. You guys announced one, but then all of a sudden you decide to want to just throw it out there and say, you know what, come and get your stuff now. We're you know, that definitely, because of the fact that whenever there was some kind of, like, this is something that never happened in PlayStation's history. It never happened with the 3, never happened with the 4, never happened with the 2. None of that. They gave you ample time. The dates were solid, and people had time to prepare themselves for those pre-orders. But the fact that this completely did not happen, that definitely, it completely caused a whole marketing mess when it comes to that. I mean, the fact that stores were already getting sold out, servers were crashing, not to mention the fact, just real quick, there was a report by Jim Hargreaves of TSA, amply known as the Sixth Access, who says that, for those of you who aren't aware, there were scalpers already selling their pre-order consoles, that these guys are legitimately getting their consoles, selling them for 733 to 1,599 sterling in euros. Now, to give you the U.S. equation of that, that's basically $900 to $1,900 as far as for that. Not to mention the fact it's also been stated that people are using bot software to be able to make these purchases. There have been stories getting heard on Twitter, stories on Instagram, and also on Reddit. People who are actually securing 5 PlayStation 5s. No joke. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. So like I said, when I first heard about this, I was very upset. I was hot because it was like I waited just so I can get ready to pre-order mine, and now you're telling me I can't get one because you guys decided to drop a pre-order, you know, earlier than expected. And you know, I had actually put out a tweet on our Twitter page, you know, saying that, you know, Sony should, you know, they should start finding some of these people because they did early pre-orders, you know, and all this kind of stuff, because I was really upset about it. But then I had to think about it. And then I watched another YouTuber do a video about why Sony did this, or why Sony allowed this to happen. And it makes sense. And I'm not mad about it anymore. I actually kind of understand. And this harps back to exactly what you were saying about the scalpers. So usually when pre-orders happen, you get your release date on the pre-orders earlier, which means this gives the scalpers time to set up their bots, get everybody, you know, get all their bots in line and ready to start doing mass purchases to make sure basically nobody got one, just so they can sell them to the highest bidder. But what Sony did was actually, or what Sony allowed to happen was actually pretty smart, because yes, there were some scalpers that still got away with it, but because it happened so fast, a lot of scalpers did not have their bots ready at all because they have to go by when the release date is going to be. And because this came out of nowhere and they had no idea about it, they couldn't set up their bots, which gave all of us, the people that really want one, a small window of opportunity to go in and purchase our consoles before the scalpers could. And I felt that, yeah, I was upset initially, and I was very taken back by what Sony did and or by what Sony allowed to happen. And I was very upset about it, which, by the way, I still left my tweet up. I never took it down. But now I understand after watching another YouTuber's video on why he thought Sony did the right thing here. And I can't help but to agree with him on that one. I think that helped out the consumer. Granted, we were still upset about it, but it really helped the consumer know that, hey, quickly get your console. And then, you know, everybody's franticking getting their console before the scalpers could actually be able to set up their bots to get more consoles. Because if they had released an actual date, and the scalpers would have had ample amount of time to get their bots ready to start purchasing all over the place. And by the way, this message is for all of you scalpers. You guys are punks. I freaking hate you. You know, I wish I'm trying to keep it clean and professional on our channel. But if I had it my way, I would totally cuss you out right now. I think you guys are the biggest pieces of scum on the planet, just for the simple fact that you're taking an opportunity away from somebody else who wants to purchase one for their kids or purchase one for themselves simply because you want to upscale the price by buying it on the cheap. And I think you are a low down, disgusting, dirty person. And I truly, truly hope that one day somebody figures a way that if they catch you scalping, you get penalized for that. I think you are an absolute joke. I think you are just, you're like Ric Flair. You're the dirtiest player in the game. You know, it's not right and it's not cool what you're doing. And I strongly urge that you cease and desist, not that you're going to listen, but you cease and desist on what you're doing and really think about what you're doing to other people just so you can make that charge double and triple the price so you can make that extra money for yourself. I think that's a low down, dirty thing to do. Damar, your thoughts?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, especially given the fact that the release date of November 12th, this is holiday time, which means a lot of people are looking forward to being able to experience this during the holidays with their families. A lot of people are doing this as just the ultimate gift to their loved ones, or just a nice gift for themselves. For it's like a reward to themselves. But for you guys to try to strip those things away from people just so you can make extra fast cash, that's not cool. That's not cool at all. I mean, and just to add on to what you had stated, Desmond, there was actually a guy named Michael Can of PC Mag who also reported that they were doing a quick search for PlayStation 5 pre-orders, and it turned up hundreds of results from sellers trying to hawk them for around $800 to as much as an ungodly $5,000 on eBay. This is happening right now. This is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. This kind of stuff should not be. I am absolutely hoping that eBay takes the necessary steps, and even Amazon, because obviously a lot of people are going to flip a lot of those systems, no question. And the fact that it's to me, it's robbery. It's definitely robbery from my point of view, because of the fact that you're taking the experience and the pleasure of being able to get your hands on this state-of-the-art machine with these incredibly awesome titles that you want to experience in the comfort of your own home. And these kinds of guys don't care about how you feel, how much you've been looking forward to this. All they care about is just making the fast cash and selling it for astronomical prices. That is ridiculous. It is absolutely just, it's unethical. And I really don't like the fact that this kind of thing is even happening. But unfortunately, this is the kind of world that we live in. You know, it's a dog eat dog world kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact of the matter is, the sharks are in the water, and all we
Yeah.
can do is do the best we can.
And this made me think of earlier when COVID really hit hard during March, and people were buying like buying up all the sanitizer and stuff. The government actually sent people into these stores because there were stores that were upscaling the price on like sanitizer and toilet paper and everything like that, and like different areas of different grocery stores. And they actually had gone onto sites like eBay and everything, and people that were selling those at astronomical prices were actually shutting them down. I hope to God that something like this happens to them, because keep in mind, they've already placed all their pre-orders, so they can put it up on eBay on how much they want to sell it for, and then when they receive it, then they can sell it to you. And I think that's absolute crime. And I really hope that something like this happens, as far as the necessary precautions to stopping scalpers from doing stuff like this. We know scalpers are always going to be, they're very smart. That's one thing we can say. They are very smart. They know how to manipulate the system. They know how to get around certain situations. I eventually plan on getting more PlayStation 5s, but not to go scalp them, but because I want to be able to give each one to my kids. And it makes it really difficult when you have scalpers on there. It's bad enough a lot of the stores are doing the bundles, but they legitimately can do that. They're giving you extra deals and stuff. Scalpers are just giving you the console and the one controller, and that's it. For the most part, some of them are doing bundles, but some of them are just selling the console. And what you should be paying for it in a store, you're having to pay double, triple, even quadruple the price on eBay and even spots on Amazon. And probably what pisses me off the most is the fact that they're getting away with it and nothing can be really done about it that I can see. I wish there was something that can be done about that. I wish Sony could do something about that. I wish, eBay could step in and be like, okay, look, because we were all supposed to be told we get one console per household. That's it. That's all we're supposed to get. That's what Sony told everybody. And somehow these scalpers found a way around it and made it work to their advantage. I absolutely think this is disgusting.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. They'll definitely get their comeuppance, I feel. But yeah, as far as for that, it's a heinous thing to do to people, especially given this particular circumstance. But I mean, at the very least, with how this whole situation played out, at the very least, they didn't get their hands on as many as they could have had, because this definitely could have been a whole lot worse.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, at least for those of you who did manage to secure your pre-orders, congrats.
Yeah. And speaking on pre-orders, by the way, PlayStation Direct have been sending out emails to people for their pre-orders directly through Sony. Now, this could be something that Sony could look into as well, as far as like, okay, we're going to allow you guys to do pre-orders just on our site. They may not start doing them in stores anymore. They may just do it off their site. I don't know if this is something new that they're trying, but if you got selected within their lottery, then in the morning you should be able to get your console, but you can actually pre-order like some of the accessories and a few of the games right now. I am pleased to say that I have been selected to get my console. So even though I'm not able to get one through Best Buy, which I signed up for to be notified of it, and I probably won't get one at Walmart or Target or anywhere else. The only other place is my company. And the only reason why I have a better shot at getting it through them, along with my PlayStation Direct, is the fact that my company that I work for does not do pre-orders. So it's all first come, first serve. So if I can get in line soon enough, then I'm a-okay. But nevertheless, yeah. So Damar, did you get an email?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did actually. I got the invitation as well. I also did a little bit of extra research as far as going into that, and still a 50-50 shot as far as for that. So basically, what ends up happening is once you log on at the appropriate time, you click on the link in your email, and what happens is you get placed in the waiting room. Now,
Mm-hmm.
once your turn comes up, then you're given the option to try to put in your pre-order for the type of console that you want. Now, as far as based on the information they stated, it's still going to be a first come, first serve. So, unfortunately, getting the invite straight from Sony will not absolutely guarantee that you get one. But at the very least, it's pretty much if you got the invitation, they're going to try to have at least a certain surplus out for all the invites that they did send out. So it's pretty much first come, first serve, or at least while supplies last. So that's pretty much how that's going to play out as far as for that. But they did state though, if you did get the invite and the time does come around and hit where you're supposed to click on that link and go into the waiting room, they said you have to act fast. So you gotta make sure not to sit on that. If you got that invite, get on it immediately. The faster you get in that waiting room, the faster you'll be able to increase your chances of locking in your PS5.
Yeah. So, and for me, it starts for you, it starts at 6 in the morning, but for me, or sorry, yours starts at 9 o'clock in the morning. Mine starts at noon. So I will still be working for another half hour. So my plan is around 11:57 ish. I am going to be taking my last break and going to sit down so I can get my pre-order done. And I don't care if it takes me till I get back to my department or whatever, but best believe I'm trying to get it. Now, in my last video talking about the well, not my last video, but the video that I talked about the PlayStation Direct and how I assumed you would be guaranteed one. So I apologize for that. Apparently I got my information wrong, but it is first come, first serve, and it is going to be limited. So basically I have two avenues. I have this, and then I have my company, which isn't doing pre-orders. Those are my last two shots at getting one right now because I pretty much lost with everything else, which, by the way, Walmart did state that they were going to be taking more pre-orders, I believe today. I think it was today or yesterday. I can't remember. I think it might have been yesterday, but they were doing additional pre-orders because some of the pre-orders that they did in the initial release, they actually had to cancel some of those because they didn't have enough to fit the demand. To me, with all of this going on, this just shows you the excitement and the anticipation for the PlayStation 5. Will Xbox receive the same treatment? That we don't know. So either way, I mean, it's an exciting time to be a gamer. It really is. Even with everything going on, it's an absolute exciting time to be a gamer.
Absolutely. And just to kind of make a little jolt as far as since you mentioned Microsoft, Microsoft did actually tweet out after I heard about the little early release on the pre-orders, and Microsoft had tweeted out and stated, they said, "Don't worry, we'll let you know the exact time pre-orders start for you soon." So that was kind of a little jolt. And then they also stated of what I reiterated before, that the Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S will both be made available to pre-order on September 22nd, and they'll launch in 36 countries on November 10th, said Microsoft in their tweet.
Yeah, and see, we had talked about that too, because in fact we had said that because I had seen that right after Xbox did their last showcase, was it? I think it was might have been Phil Spencer. I can't remember. It was Phil Spencer or somebody that dropped a tweet saying that the pre-orders are going to start September 22nd. So that was the only reason why I found out about that one. But nevertheless, I think the safest route right now is to probably go into stores and put in your pre-orders. If you're able to go into like a GameStop or a Target, or my Best Buy is not doing in-store pre-orders. It's all online. But you might be able to stop into Walmart and do pre-orders. You know, any place where you can go inside and do a pre-order to secure your guarantee is probably the best way, the best route for you right now. If you're able to get it online, God bless you. But it's, for me, I look forward to just standing in line at my company's, you know, at one of my company stores, and just, I'll take the 11th and the 12th off, you know, and just I'll just sit there in line to get my console. So anyway, I have 2 opportunities left. That's it for me. If I can't get either one, how long before stores get replenished again, I don't know. This one actually seemed pretty quick, but I think Sony is, you know, they see how much the demand is. And and that's the crazy thing. Even during a pandemic, people were willing to spend the money to get this machine. You know, from a business perspective, you know, from a businessman type perspective, that's got to feel good. That's got to feel really good. But at the same time, you're like, man, I hate to do that to people, especially with this going on. There were even, you know, rumors that people were thinking they should just wait until next year when this thing clears up so that they have a better opportunity to get more consoles made, you know, to meet the demand. They wouldn't have to deal with the shortage. And by the way, Microsoft is not having a shortage from what we understand. They are not having a shortage. Sony is the only one that is supposed to be having a shortage. So whether it's even really called a shortage, or it might have been just purposely done to basically say, hey, we're just making this many for now. You know, we'll see how things go, and then we'll release more as we go along. So I think right now they're filling out the demands, and then they're working on replenishing. But with COVID kind of slowing everything down, they're not able to produce them as fast as they probably want to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is true. That is true. And I know I had put out a tweet to Sony also. One of my other main concerns, especially when the PlayStation 5s finally start getting shipped out to people's homes, was the simple fact of, again, this is around holiday time. Now, for anyone who knows anything about, and I'm going to put them on blast, I don't care, when it comes to FedEx, UPS, USPS, some of their drivers are known to be hoarding packages, unfortunately. So, you know, that's another thing that's a very worrisome thing as far as in my book, because of the fact of, I mean, some of you guys have invested a lot of money into these things, and I would feel really bad if an employee who is feeling a bit bitter about it decides to say, well, I couldn't get one, but hey, I'll just take yours. You know, that is a realistic thing. And I sent out a tweet to Sony about that, and I'm hoping that they'll be able to put some kind of procedure in place prior to those shipments going out, just to assure that those who put in those pre-orders and paid for their systems, paid for their accessories, paid for their games are actually going to get them. That's the main thing. But absolutely, that's definitely a worrisome thing as far as when it comes to holidays, because I already know when it comes to researching these kinds of delivery companies, holidays are always a time where their lost packages spike. So that's been one of my concerns as far as for that.
And speaking of lost packages or stolen packages, let's take into account too, depending on the location of where you live. And this has been a big problem too. People going on to people's homes and yards and stealing their packages right from the porch, like their front lawn or whatever. You know, if like a UPS driver drops off somebody's package, and then, you know, you're not home, and then, you know, maybe an hour later somebody that's just walking by decides, oh, there's a package here, I'm going to go steal that. You'll never know because you think that you didn't get your package yet. So I think that's another concern. And so that's another reason why, if you can get the day off or the time off of your job to make sure you get your console the day it gets shipped to you, I highly suggest that. I think that would be probably the best thing for you to do. just to make sure, or if you're not going to be there, if somebody's going to be there to have your package, to be able to get it in the house. That's another thing you could do. A third option, which I hope gets put into place, is that package does not leave or get put on your porch or front yard unless it is signed off. If you're not there to sign off on it, you physically are not there to sign off, or somebody you trust to sign off so you can have it put into your house, what they'll do is that they'll take it and then put it back in their truck and then, move on, and then leave a note saying, hey, we stopped by, we wanted to drop off your package, but no one was here to sign it. So I think having it signed would probably be a good idea. Just a couple of little things to kind of help you guys out as far as making sure you get your package safe and sound to your respected home.
Yeah.
Well, that is going to be it for me. It is 2:00 in the morning. I still need to get some sleep because I have to be at work very soon. So I'm going to try and sneak in at least another hour and a half. But you guys, let us know your thoughts on everything that we talked about here today. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Once again, if you are watching us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on that bell for all notifications, and smash that like button. Check us out on on Facebook as well, where we can give you the latest information. We did get an update on the court case between Epix and Apple, which we will discuss at a later show. But we're starting to hear rumblings of some updates that has happened. But make sure you hit us up on Twitter and Instagram at Platform Gamer P1. And if you want the audio versions of these of our podcasts, you can get them on Spotify. You can search us up on the search engine and Spotify and on Podbean. So that's Podbean and Spotify. Those are the new ones, the newest ways that you can get our content. But anyway, Tamar, did you have anything else you wanted to say?
Just basically, in these times of uncertainty, you guys definitely stay safe. Again, congratulations for those of you who got your PS5 subscriptions pre-orders locked in. And we definitely hope that all of you who haven't definitely gets your hands on those, because I know come Christmas, I know we all just want to sit down and just blast away at demons and everything else. So definitely, you guys, but still, at the end of the day, just be safe. Be humble. Love the ones you with, and we'll definitely see you guys next time on the podcast.
Absolutely. You guys take care. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And if you have PlayStation Direct, be ready to do your pre-order. Anyway, take care, guys. We'll talk to you later.